And I've seen it where one guy will take someone else out.
Yeah.
And they'll start looking down the row, trying to figure out, hey, who
did I just take out?
Who just had a look and took me out?
Welcome to the latest episode of Inside Sim Racing. Brian Bielanski here, and we are at this really cool place. It's the Racinghaus, right?
The Racinghaus.
That is awesome. We're in West Bend, Wisconsin, and this is a full-on 10 race sims. How many do we have here?
9 racing simulators, and then we have the timepiece in the room.
So a 9 simulator sim center complete with a bar and a great place to hold events, but it's not really just about events. This is a true-on esports kind of sim racing situation. Ben Morales is here with me, and Ben, I start every show with the exact same question. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the show, so you probably don't know that this is coming, but here it is. How did you get mixed up in this crazy sport that we love?
Yeah, no, first, thanks for coming out, and it's great to see you. And to answer your question, as a kid, I think just Gran Turismo, I think that's probably one thing we all have in common at some point in our life. And as I got older and you start experimenting with more hobbies, just started playing around with sim racing. And I think COVID, like most people, exacerbated our interest in sim racing,
right.
For better or for worse. So started futzing around with the systems, and I think that just kind of, it's a rabbit hole, sim racing.
Sure. Yeah. Now, a lot of us, we do this at home. We don't go to a sim racing center to do this. Where did the idea for the sim racing center come up?
Yeah, I think, you being from Wisconsin, you have a good understanding of just how the weather is here. It does get quite cold, and winter can be quite long. And I think that it was a good opportunity. I also think just in general, bridging the gap between motorsport and accessibility, that's been the biggest thing that I wanted to do. Was a lot of people talk about simulators, or they have their own at-home simulator, what their interpretation of a simulator is, and I just recognized that, hey, building a racing simulation center is something that is happening all across the country.
Right.
But also the amount of people that come in and they can sit on an authentic simulator and just have a great experience. That's why we did it.
So for those who don't know, West Bend, Wisconsin is 45 minutes from Road America. I know that because I just literally drove here from Road America. And the National Park of Speed in the beautiful Kettle Moraine Forests of Wisconsin. Not far from Road America is a great little short track where World of Outlaws come to play, among all other types of short track racing. So this is kind of a little hub of motorsports. Obviously, when winter comes, it becomes snowmobile racing, which there's a lot of that goes on around here as well. This would not be my thought of a location for a sim racing center. I would think in big metropolitan centers. We have one in LA, there's one in Atlanta. How does it work in a smaller kind of West Bend, Wisconsin?
To be honest, when I was looking at different places to put the center, I recognized that, hey, the culture here in West Bend, is racing. People love racing. Slinger Speedway, 9 minutes down the road.
Right.
Fastest quarter mile short track, in the world, they say.
Sure.
We have Plymouth. We have Road America. We have Milwaukee Mile. We have Crandon a few hours north.
Yep.
And so I just felt like, hey, this is a nod to the race car culture. The people that grew up watching NASCAR, the people that go-kart. And I just felt that I wanted the people that came in here and raced to appreciate it, really. And I think the support's been just overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
It just really has.
So who's your customer? Is it hardcore sim racers? Is it the family who wants to come in and have fun on a weekend? Is it birthday parties? Who comes and races here?
I think it's a variety of everyone.
Okay.
From the working class guy who's a weekend racer, weekend warrior, tunes up his late model and races at Slinger, to little Jimmy who comes in with his dad. He's a competitive go-karter, but wants to continue dialing some things in, to just people that are like, hey, racing sounds really cool. I've never done it. Let's see what it's like. And they all come in here and do a birthday party.
Right.
So it's just a good variety.
So tell us, when someone comes here, what are they going to find?
Racing simulators. I think it's a good presentation.
Right.
I wanted people, when they walk in, to just be in a different world. You know, from the outside, you don't really know, but once you're in here, it's like welcome.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's a very friendly environment. It's super simple to get started. We give everyone a quick little tour just to get going on the simulator. And then for the most part, it's pretty self-serving. You know,
Sure.
iRacing's pretty easy to navigate once you understand it.
Right, right. You know, so inside sim racing, we got hardcore folks here. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about these sims. You were very, very excited to tell me what was all in the setup. So tell us about them.
Yeah, so our focus has been esports. And so you know, at first, as a sim center, you have a million decisions that you could theoretically make when you build the center, right? If you just Google sim racing equipment, there are thousands of different philosophies. And at the end of the day, I had to ask myself, what's the goal of the sim racing center? And I think I wanted people to have the most authentic experience while also providing simulators that make people faster or give people the best chance to be faster.
Sure.
Esports in mind. And so throughout my years of just being in sim racing, I've probably tested out every philosophy in terms of how a simulator can be built, using just about every product, every way to configure your monitors, every motor, every pair of pedals.
Right.
And so I ended up, you know, choosing what I did. So from a cockpit perspective, I know, you know, shout out to Matt Sten over at Track Racer, the CEO there. We went with Track Racer TR160 Gen 5s, which is their newest flagship model. You know, it's going to be pretty common amongst the other companies in terms of how they're built and how they are and the rigidity. It's all the same.
Right.
And then from a direct drive, from a pedal, and from a steering wheel perspective, we went with Virtual Racing School. The reason I went with VRS was my personal experience has been really good with them. Their customer support's fantastic, and I also just believe in the management there and what they've been able to do when building other elite sim racing organizations.
Right.
You know, Porsche Kawanda being one of them, as well as Apex.
Right.
You know, as a variety of others as well. And so, you know, over the last few years, I've developed a really good relationship with them, and that's why we ended up going with VRS.
Sure.
Tried and proven stuff. And then on the monitor side, we went with triple Samsung G75Ts, the same monitors Verstappen uses, for example, on his personal simulator. Just phenomenal. You know, 1,000R curvature, QLED, 1440p, 240 hertz refresh rate. And then on top of that, we got really good PCs here.
Sure.
Really good. That pushes well over 200 FPS, medium to high settings. And so and then we also have a fourth monitor overhead. A lot of sim centers don't do it, save cost presumably.
Sure.
We have it because we get drivers in here that are at the esports level, and you know, when they log into their personal accounts, they do need a tried and proven setup.
Right.
But additionally, we built it knowing that, hey, one day when we really start competing in special events, endurance racing, that, you know, when we shut the facility down, we want our drivers to just have a tried and proven simulator to race on at the highest levels.
Right.
And that's why we did not go with a wind simulator.
Sure.
You know, and it's a funny story, you know, and not to knock anyone that has a wind simulator, but I wear contacts.
Right.
And when wind's blowing in your eyes and you're on a simulator, you know, your contacts start to dry out. Just a little thing.
Well,
you know?
and in a real world racing situation, you don't have the wind coming in your face because you're wearing a helmet with a face mask, or if you're old school, goggles. And so that's never something you would want to encounter in the real world. Now, it is nice to have the breeze when you're hot and sweaty and disgusting because you've been driving a sim for an hour and a half. I get that, but I never understood the idea of the wind as being part of the simulation. I always thought that the fan was nice to keep yourself cool.
There's nothing a drum fan can't
exactly.
do as well.
And that works out great as well. So, how much was this decision-making process was to pick tools that can withstand the rigors of these things being driven hours and hours a week? Presumably, you want this place full all the time. To durability, how much was that part of the decision-making process?
It was important. Going back to it, you know, one, the relationship I had with VRS.
Right.
Two, I just think, you know, tried and proven motors and pedal systems. And VRS, you know, has really been proven at a high level. A lot of Coca-Cola NASCAR drivers in iRacing run VRS. A lot of the top teams in the world run it. I personally have never had an issue with VRS.
Right.
And any time I've even had just general questions, like getting in contact with them is so easy.
Right.
And so all things considered from a commercial standpoint, when you look to say, hey, what equipment do I want to invest in? I mean,
Right.
customer service and time of response is critical.
Right.
Because downtime means I lose sim time.
Sure.
So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we started talking before I came in and I decided to come and do the show, I said something to you. I said, so full motion sims, right? And you gave me a very interesting answer.
Yeah, and this is where you'll have part of the
Right.
audience in general that will disagree, and that's okay. And
Right.
we all have our own opinions, and that's great. We decided not to go with motion. I've been very clear on that. A majority of the top sim racers in the entire world, at the knife's edge of pace, do not use motion.
Right.
Period. And when you're looking for every thousandth of a second, hundredth of a second, motion is and can and will be counterproductive to that. Now, I know that the motion systems are continuously improving.
Right.
There's tons of R&D going into that. I know there's some really good offerings that have been gaining attraction because that they are in fact starting to synchronize well.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, right, like if you ask the top sim racers in the world, which is our goal here, we decided not to do motion for
Right.
that very reason.
Right. Any kind of, butt kickers, that kind of stuff at all? Have you experimented with that?
I've had them.
Okay.
Yep. I have a box in the back room full of butt kickers.
Sure. I'm
I-
taking that box home with me afterwards, actually.
I have no interest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because when you go and see, the stadium esports sim racing events, you're right. You don't see, motion or any of that kind of stuff on those rigs. They're pretty standard aluminum profile rigs and triple monitors, maybe the fourth monitor. The concept is kind of keep it simple, stupid.
And,
But if it
that's
works,
just it. And that's just
Right.
it. I didn't want to overcomplicate things.
Right.
When you're putting together a center, adding more complexity
Yeah.
to troubleshooting is an issue
Right.
for business. But also, like, hey, shout out to Cam Eben.
Yeah.
One of our own here. He's over, he's a 14-time iRacing world champion. He is, I think, the living and breathing epitome of a simple simulator. He's on a Logitech on a single screen.
Yeah.
He doesn't need any extra stuff.
Yeah.
You now put him in a polished, ready-to-go simulator, and they're at the knife's edge of it.
Yeah. Cam was actually our first episode of Inside Sim Racing. And I always get to the point in the show where I say, okay, tell me about your sim. I was completely blown
Yep,
away. When
most
you said,
people are.
When
Yep.
and then when he gave me his reasoning, back and forth to college, needs something
Yep.
he can do, made perfect sense. But the results that he got on what is the most entry-level sim racing equipment
Yep.
bolted to a desk makes you feel really dumb when you've got all the happy fancy stuff and you're really, really not even close to being as fast as he is.
Yeah.
I think it goes just to show you that time in sim is the best recipe for being fast.
For sure. And at the end of the day, that's why we kept it just so simple here.
Right. So tell me about some of the events you've had.
Yeah.
From more on the competitive side of sim racing.
Yeah. My personal experience, or just
With the center here.
Okay. Yeah, so we do a monthly Fast Lap competition
Okay.
here, which is, we launched in May, so part of
Relatively new.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And part of our job here is to get homegrown grassroots drivers.
Got it.
Okay. And so with that, I built the fastest lap competition.
Sure.
And every single month I pick a car and track combo for oval racing and for road racing.
Sure.
And how it works is when you come in here, I put you in a fixed setup, fixed car setup, fixed everything. There's no shenanigans going on.
Right.
And at the end of the month, if you have a top 18 fastest lap time for either oval or for road, you get to come back and actually do a sprint shootout race live against
Nice.
the top 18 other guys.
Very cool.
I think the best part about it has just been the community.
Yeah.
The relationships. I never would have known this many people did iRacing this
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
I live down the road, but I never would have known that, hey, there's probably 15 people in this vicinity that all do iRacing as well.
Yeah.
To give them a home now where they can come, they can train. We have really good minds here. The improvement every month to month, the pace improvement that people have had
Sure.
seeing their iRatings all go up now when they go home and race personally. It's just been so rewarding to give them that.
So even folks who have their own home rigs are coming in.
Yes.
When you talk to them, is it because what they have at home isn't as nice as what you have here? Is that the main reason mostly?
A little.
Or is it just the community and camaraderie of being able to do it side by side with people?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that I would probably say 95% of all people that come in, these are better, and I don't want to be disingenuous.
No, that's true.
They're better built simulators for performance.
Right.
And so I have a lot of drivers now that they've started to sell their equipment,
okay,
and they just come in here and race.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
But on the other side, I do think there's drivers that they're racing all the time at home,
right,
but they just like the community.
Sure.
There's just something about coming in here, they grab a drink,
yeah,
they sit down, and next to them they have a few buddies, and they all go online on their personal accounts and they race with each other. Just something about that.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, it's funny, we race in the real world. Mm-hmm. I'm involved with Sports Club of America. I've covered racing from IndyCar all the way down. And it's one of those things where the conversation that you have, if you've done this long enough, is we all came for the cars, but we stayed for the people. That is a common thread that we always hear. And it seems as though the one thing I miss sometimes from sim racing is the community. You know, there's some online interaction. You can jump on this and that. I have a weekend program where I'm racing with the same 25 or 30 people every Saturday. We're creating that community virtually. Here, you're able to do that in person, and I think there's a lot of attraction to that. Is that seemingly what you're finding?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people just, they kind of yearn for human connection.
Right.
You know, in a world of remote work and just being isolated in your room all day, there is something nice about coming to a motorsport facility.
Sure.
Right? Because when you walk in, it's just you're in our world now, and I think people love that. I think even people that don't want to come here and race, they come and they grab a drink.
Sure.
And they just sit down and they're like, I'll listen to music, I'll watch people race, and then, hey, let me hop on for an hour.
On the weekends, you need to put up the Formula One races, or you know,
we put on a lot of racing
and
here.
that kind of stuff. That would be a lot of fun. You haven't gotten to a Wisconsin winter yet.
Not yet. No.
I suspect you're hoping. Is that going to be your busy season? Do you think when winter comes?
I hope so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that most simulation-based businesses like golf,
sure,
they're just packed. It's a zoo. So, yeah, I hope.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's strong indicators that would be true. I know we're currently working on expanding from our fastest lap competition, but to actual league.
Right.
So you just come in once a week for your league
Right.
race. You meet the same people, and you know, for better or for worse, and then you race against them. So,
I think that then brings kind of like almost full circle, you know, where we get together at the racetrack, and we, you know, when the helmets go on, we are enemies. You know, and I some friends. I just got back from our national championship autocross event, you know, and I walked up to a guy I love, like a brother, and I said, "Dude, you are not my friend for the next 25 minutes." You know, and we kind of like, you know, little trash talking kind of thing, which is kind of true. We did our stuff, and then we took our helmets off, and we were high-fiving and yipping and yapping, and you can do the same thing when you're in the same building doing this kind of stuff. So
I'll tell you, something that's really been funny is, you know, they always say, hey, elbows out.
Yeah.
And when you're racing online, it's at times, you know, it's elbows out a little bit. It's fascinating like during the playoff races.
Right.
You have a bunch of guys, some of them are new, some are regulars, and when they're racing in real time next to one another.
Elbows up means a different thing.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
People think about it. You know, online they may have a look.
Right.
When you're sitting next to the guy and you want to get elbows out, you know, think twice about it. Because I've seen it where one guy will take someone else out.
Yeah.
And you know, they'll start looking down the row, trying to figure out, hey, who
did I just take out?
Who just had a look and took me out? You know.
That's funny. Well, and that's the thing with a league also. Yep. When you're in the same league, and the league that I'm in has been around for 10 years. So some of these people, I'm new to it, but they've been racing together for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, they treat each other differently in those races than if you just go to one of the official iRacing leagues.
There's no respect.
There's almost no respect until you get up to the higher echelons. I think maybe there's a little. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not at the higher echelon, but when you get to 4 and 5K splits, maybe there's a little more respect. I don't know.
I think they just, in a way, they have. There's probably more a camaraderie or a fixed understanding of like what's the end game here.
Right.
And I think a lot of what I see a lot is these new racers, they're stuck at 1,000 iRating.
Right.
And they're in this perpetual cycle of every race they join, they crash out or someone hits them. And what you find with the higher iRating guys is they stay out of trouble.
Right.
It's just recognizing, like, hey, if there's a scenario behind you that's not looking good and they're right behind you, or if there's a scenario brewing in front of you, you got to be really careful.
Right.
And yeah, that's how it goes.
The thing I have learned is that new people who get involved with this underestimate the mental side of this.
Yes.
And, they look at it and it looks easy. It looks simple. It's not. And the difference between the people who are really fast and the people who are fast and successful is the whole mental game part of it.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of the drivers as well, like, you're trying to get iRating up, you really have to focus on a series that you're good at.
Right.
And that's going to be productive to you gaining iRating.
Yeah.
But if you hop around to session to session to session to session, there's no stability in terms of your mental preparation. You haven't practiced at all. And I don't think that I'm the moral arbiter of that discussion. I stopped racing about 2 years ago officially. I'm a dad.
Right.
I don't have the time, but I finished off at 5,200 iRating for road.
Yeah.
By now, I think I'd
that.
be well above and beyond that. But it's just like, to get there, it's a trial and tribulation.
Yeah. It's a grind.
It's a grind. And going back to it, I just think that drivers that have been able to get there, and they recognize that, hey, the guys around you, they're trying to just finish the race too.
Yeah.
And when a guy has reeled you in from 1.6 seconds back, he's faster than you.
Yes.
And so it's like, hey, do I want to get elbows out and defend this like it's a world title, or should I maybe just let him by and get in his draft and have him tow me a little while?
Or learn.
Or vice versa.
Or learn. If the guy's behind you, 5 seconds, and 2 laps later he's caught you, it's because he's better than you.
Correct. And I think, and what I see, I watch it all the time, is, they're in races and they're like battling like it's a world title, and I'm like, dude, when you guys take each other out, in a way I don't feel bad, because it's like, you could have gotten on the mic and just said, hey, can you just let me by? You know, and if he's going to give you a hard time, well, then deal with it.
Right.
How
much, because you are now in a spot where you are the authority, because you just said it, you had a 5,000 iRating when you stopped doing your officials. How much mentorship and coaching do you do, and do you enjoy that?
I do enjoy it.
Okay. I
really do. I think as racers, a lot of it was always like me.
Right.
Ever since I became a dad, I've just appreciated helping other people.
Yeah.
I'm only 32, so I don't come at it from a sense of wisdom, but there's something organic and fulfilling about people coming in.
Right.
And they have genuine questions.
Yeah.
Even from, hey, I've never sat in a simulator. Can I test it out? Sure, no problem. Or they're like, hey, can you help me find some time on the lap? And you just pick up on very simple things like, hey, you should maybe just use the whole track.
Yeah.
It's just simple things like that. And then what I really enjoy is the drivers that have been coming back. They've gained a lot of pace. Their iRating's improving. They're 2,000-3,000 now. And you then can really start talking about some, the physics side of rotation and just what you can do with the car on the telemetry input side. And that's what I think's been really fulfilling.
Sure.
Coming from the corporate world, where it's a different world, to coming into an environment that was my hobby, which is now my passion. I don't come to work. I come to do what I love to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Obviously, you've just opened here. This is one of those things. It's scalable. You know, you
Yes.
can put these in other locations. Is that something you've thought about? Obviously, I see the smile on your face. More locations coming, more locations thought about. What's the situation with that?
We have a good understanding of some things.
Okay.
I do think that, I may be a little biased, Racinghaus as a brand is a good brand.
Yeah.
It's been done well. We've thought a lot about it. I think that we can imagine multiple Racinghaus locations where, hey, we're in Racinghaus in West Bend, but hey, next time you're in Madison, Wisconsin, for example, maybe a hint.
Yeah.
Hey, you stop at the Racinghaus there.
Sure.
And so what's been great is the people that have come here and have said, hey, you know, this is amazing, you did it. I had the idea years back to open up a sim racing center, and then when you start to actually go through it, like, everyone at face value, I think, thinks like starting a sim center's, you know, it's pretty straightforward. It's really challenging.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Having done it now, my interpretation of how to do it is we've streamlined it.
Yeah.
I know everything about it, and so when I get these good minds that, you know, from different zones in the state that are like, hey, dude, the Racinghaus is such a good brand.
Right.
We're having those discussions.
One of the things I've noticed walking through is it's a pretty compact location.
Yeah.
Not a lot of square footage in this room to do what you've done here.
Mm-hmm.
And which I've been to other sim centers where they were just these huge things. And the first thing I always think about, because I'm an entrepreneur, is the overhead for this has got to be nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't even include the stuff that is the bread and butter, the simulators. With the smaller footprint here, from a business standpoint, that's got to help a lot. And, you know, your location is not in a huge high traffic area, and you're still getting business. I think that is going to help you when you think about expanding, right?
I think so. This facility is 3,100 square feet.
Okay.
There's a whole nother side of the building you haven't even seen over there through those doors. And then we do have these rooms here, which, you know, we did a lot of work to get this facility like that.
Right.
What I wanted to make sure of was, first, you know, from a phase A or phase 1 perspective, is this, you know, fundamentally able to work?
Sure.
I think that I'm coming up with my own conclusions on that, and then now we're heading into more phase 2, which is expansion.
Yeah.
And so I agree with you.
Yeah, definitely. So as we get to wrapping up here, iRacing only? Do you have other platforms that you've got?
iRacing only.
Okay. Is there any thoughts on any other platforms, or is just iRacing the best platform for this particular type of situation?
I think for this situation.
Yeah. Is that because of it's just the one that most people are doing and it just makes sense?
I think it's the gold standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a lot of others that come in and they want to do a Assetto and others, and I think that's great. When we launched, we wanted to compete, you know, against some of the best sim racing teams in the world, and you know, we're really working hard here deeply to get there.
Right.
And iRacing is where it's at.
Sure.
I don't currently see any other sim title in the market that at the end of the day allows you to prove yourself like iRacing does.
Is there? What is the well, actually, two questions. First of all, lots of motorsports around here, real-world motorsports. I stumbled upon you, and I'm here for a big event at Road America. How are you going to market yourself to find people? Because there's going to be 20,000 people there this weekend, and that's a small number for what we're doing. When IndyCar comes, it'll be 70,000 people. Do you have plans to try to get some of those people to show up on Friday and Saturday nights on race weekends?
We did for IMSA.
Okay,
which
how'd
was
that
really
work
cool.
out?
It was cool.
Okay, cool.
They just, I think like most people, they're like, hey, what's there to do? Sim Racing Center, and it's like, oh, hey, it's only 45 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
That Lamborghini tire over there is actually a customer said, hey, my car's full. Can you take some stuff out of the car?
Nice.
You know, so after the race, they're getting rid of stuff. And so he brought that here. I do know that we are working right now on getting a hauler where we can bring more simulators to events.
Sure.
I know we're already working on some things for next year's IMSA Sports Car Weekend.
Cool.
With reserving some, you know, campgrounds.
Yeah.
And doing a good old little party there.
Yeah.
With some simulators. So
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm really excited for seeing this kind of a place, and I'm happy that I was able to come and bring the Inside Sim Racing podcast here.
No, I genuinely appreciate you coming.
Yeah,
I really do.
Very cool. So for anyone who's interested in stopping by, we'll put in the show notes the location and the link, and come on by and check it out. Ben's a great guy. He's got a great facility here, and you never know where a racing house will show up in a neighborhood near you down the road. So that's going to do it for this episode of Inside Sim Racing. I'm Brian Bielanski. Have yourself a great week. Have fun, and go drive your sim.